Out of Costa Mesa, California, and representing Art of Jiu-Jitsu, Johnatha Alves.
Johnatha Alves, representing Art of Jiu-Jitsu, Team AOJ, three-time Pan champion. Jake Watson, tell us about Johnatha Alves.
Johnatha Alves, my goodness, very tactical competitor, has won some of the biggest tournaments in the world. In his corner is Tynan Thalper, who we'll see a little later on, and Guy Mendez. They have really locked down the training from strength and conditioning to the tactical ability to pick apart their opponents to just a general knowledge of jiu-jitsu that really goes beyond the top 2% of all competitors. It's really impressive to see.
His opponent from La Habra, California, representing Checkmat, Mathias Luna.
Mathias Luna, representing Checkmat Jiu-Jitsu, Team Lucas Leitch out of La Habra, California. A very scrappy competitor who's used to competing at this weight. And very exciting to watch, I must say, is Mathias Luna. Very experienced competitor as well.
Yeah, he possesses a knowledge of the rule set, has acted as an IBJJF referee on many occasions, became very familiar with the rule set, and here we'll see the tail of the tape. 27-year-old is Mathias Luna, 23, Johnatha Alves. A significant height advantage for Mathias Luna, but the weights are nearly identical. We'll see if that height advantage comes into play for Mathias Luna. Both of these competitors so well versed in the rules. Let's get this match underway.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are being joined by Kendo Rusing here in this event, this first super fight. Kendo, what do you think of the event so far?
Oh my gosh, I've loved getting to be a spectator. What a treat. And I almost was jumping right now in my seat watching these guys go in for some immediate foot sweeps, although I can't say I'm surprised. I think we see that from Mathias a lot, and sometimes able to score some big twos off of those.
Yeah, one thing I love about having not a lot of spectators is you really get to hear the crashing from shin to shin on each of the competitors. Really, when they go for foot sweeps, it's so loud.
Feels like we're in Pride Fighting in Japan. Everyone's so quiet and only applauding when we see the points being scored or certain moments in the match. But yeah, this has just been an awesome event so far. Johnatha Alves pulling guard, and one of the things I really love about today's event, we're going to see a lot of matches we've never seen before. And I think anytime we see new matches, it kind of brings out the best of some of these competitors. And I think Johnatha, really is like a perfectionist in his technique. But I think Mathias is going to force him to open up and really showcase his skills.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier in the pre-show, Ricardo. We were saying that the key here for Mathias is going to be to not let Johnatha slow him down and control the pace, because like you said, he is a perfectionist. We see that with every move he makes here. He has a beautiful guard game, but he's not going to rush into a position without the proper grips, without the proper off balance. And by Mathias keeping such a strong base and breaking those grips of Johnatha, he's not allowing Johnatha to enter his perfectionist positions, although we could see that change now.
One thing I love about both of these competitors as well is that they're unfazed by the caliber of show that they're on. They are going to stay true to their principles. They are going to stay true to a game plan. They are okay by winning by half of an advantage. They do not care. A W is a W, and there is no asterisk next to your name if you win by submission or not. Both of these competitors, very seasoned champions. Mathias Luna won the 2021 IBJJF American Nationals Championship using that technical ability to beat Ronaldo Jr. in that tournament. So both of these athletes have a great list of accolades and high-level competitors that they've been victorious over.
Something to notice here too is Johnatha has such an amazing grip with his left hand. So every time that Mathias starts to come up and try to pass, he's stopped by that hand grip of Johnatha. So if he overextends on a knee cut, or if he backs up too far, or just like we're seeing tries to step over, then he's going to find himself in some trouble. So it's almost that Johnatha holds that hand grip and kind of baits Mathias into getting a little bit desperate on the pass, and then ends up in a more favorable position like this with the foot on the bicep or the shoulder. could put it back on the hip and use that to extend as well. And now we find one of his favorite guards here, switching between, he was in single leg X, he could switch to X, going to the 50-50.
That left pant grip of Johnatha Alves, we see really shared amongst a lot of AOJ competitors. Wouldn't you say, Ricardo?
Yeah, absolutely. And I see a lot of shades of Tainan Dalpra setups here, and his attacks here. You know, a little bit of everything. You know, that's the beauty of the AOJ style. You get a little bit of Hafa, a little bit of Gi, and a little bit of your own mixed into one. So Johnatha Alves now on the attack, trying to get to the top position, and Mathias just, you know, earlier on he was using, what I liked what he was doing with his knee. He was actually like shutting down the De La Riva by forcing his knee to the outside. Now it's kind of a completely different story. A lot of gripping, a lot of pulling. It's going to be a little bit of a different match. Hopefully we get to see more of the contemporary guard positions. Mathias now looking to get up on top, but just a very, very tight match so far.
Interesting too here in this position, Mathias will accept the bottom position. You could kind of see that he allowed himself to be knocked over, because there will be a 2-point score here, but this is a position that he consistently wins matches from. So he may temporarily give up the 2 to be in a better position for himself that he sees as a better position to maybe look to attack the back or sweep his opponent back up to the top, attack a footlock, and just as I say that, he comes up for the 2. So now equaling the score here. And I think Mathias looking to untangle this 50-50 by standing up.
We see the dreaded, loved 50-50 with the lapel. the position that it's almost like once you get there, you know you can totally score. And, you know, there's a lot of leg attacks from there, a lot of ways to get advantages. You know, it's a love-hate position in the community these days, but it's definitely one that is expected to see at the highest level because it's so effective.
Yeah, and Johnatha Alves really putting his hips into that sweep to knock Mathias Luna back down to the ground. Johnatha Alves, 3 consecutive years in a row IBJJF Pan Champion in 2020, 2021, and 2022. Really impressive. I mean, that's a long string of dominance to win the same tournament 3 years in a row.
It's interesting when you think about Luna, because Luna is one of those competitors that is consistently there, consistently working his way to the top. But his biggest title thus far is the American Nationals at the black belt level. He's yet to win one of the majors as far as Pans, Euros, the World Championships, and Brazilian Nationals. So all these competitors, they know each other really well, but it would only take a really big win like this Grand Prix to really solidify Mathias as what some already consider a very elite competitor, but it would put him at an undeniable position to be one of the very best.
And you create a momentum, and you roll a momentum for him. You know, coming off a big win like this could be huge for his career. You know, it could be intimidating to his opponents in other tournaments coming up. It could be a confidence booster for him, knowing that he beat somebody with the caliber of Johnatha Alves. But right now, Johnatha Alves up on top, ahead by 2 points on Mathias Luna with 4 minutes and 10 seconds left to go here.
Yeah, it's a very narrow lead, and Mathias has been kind of looking a little bit for this 50-50 armbar, some arm attacks in this position to either, one, he can bait Johnatha to fall back and he can come back up on top. 2, he might start to look for back opportunities off of that. But I can see that even though he looks to pass the lapel, we never see Mathias content in holding 50-50 in a stalling like position. He's very, very active from that guard.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
What I was going to say was one of the chinks, I guess, in the perfection of Johnatha Alves has been competitors who are willing to throw themselves at him. And Mathias is no stranger to opening up and trying things. We saw earlier at the World Championship this year that Tai Ruotolo threw himself at Johnatha Alves, and it was a lot to deal with. So we'll see if Mathias Luna takes some notes from the Ruotolo playbook and tries to open up a little bit.
50-50 position, sweep after sweep. Now it looks like Johnatha up by 2 points, 6-4. Johnatha Alves on top. And, you know, again, this dreaded 50-50 lapel guard is something that you kind of love or hate, but nonetheless, it is very effective. And we see it more and more at the highest level of competition. Johnatha's grips are very interesting. Right hand under the right leg of Mathias, using it to get on top, just back and forth in this 50-50 position.
What we'll notice is that every time Luna does come up on top, It would be a smart strategy to stand up, open the 50-50, and start to negate that position and move on and start to look to pass, as he's tried to do multiple times. But every time he does, if you notice, Johnatha's left foot goes behind the legs of Luna and inserts in behind the thigh in like an X-guard position. It can lead to back takes. It can lead to crab rides. So then Mathias is not able to stay in a safe enough position to open up the 50-50. So it ends up being this very awkward kind of, you have to give up your advancement out of the 50-50 to prevent your back being taken or from your foot being attacked. So then we see him being swept back to the bottom, and it is precarious. It's not that either one of the athletes want to stay here the entire match. It's that the other person is putting them in attacks to where they can't get out, or it feels like getting out would be detrimental.
Johnatha Alves up on points against Mathias Luna here.
Now Mathias looking a little bit of to try the game plan of Alves. We saw him start to swing his left leg around, maybe looking for a crab ride position, controlling that far leg.
In the background here, we see a little bit of a deliberation between the score.
Yeah, we've got it adjusted now. You know, the thing is, with this position, it is effective, but sometimes it just becomes a question of who scores last. Because you know, once you're there, you can totally score. And, you know, we haven't seen anyone really try to open up and try to pass the position. They seem to be content to just sweep each other back and forth. Like I said, trying to get the last score in, which is not always the most exciting, but it is very tactical.
That was some interesting dexterity there from Luna, the way that he brought his foot in and rotated his hip to come up on top, and then immediately stood up. Like, I really do believe that he's looking to open the 50-50 when he comes up on top. He's immediately back up to the feet, right? But man, Johnatha has such strong attack rate. He feels so comfortable that immediately it puts Mathias back on the defense as soon as he's back up, right?
Yeah, there's visible frustration on the face of Mathias Luna, and for good reason. I mean, if this fight were to go to a referee's decision, who do you give it to? There hasn't been a lot of submission attempts. There hasn't been a lot of solid takedown attacks. Really, it was right into this 50-50 position within the first, minute of the match? So as a referee, you got to think, are our three referees going to have an easy decision? No. But I don't imagine Mathias Luna wants to stay in this 50-50 position for much longer leading in the last 30 seconds of this match. We'll see if one of them initiates some kind of footlock attack or something to win the judge's favor.
Or if Johnatha can score one more time in this last 24 seconds and stabilize the top position, and it looks like he's trying to do just that, trying to grab that far pant leg. Mathias Luna knows that, and he's defending, staying on top, doing a great job of balancing out. Now Johnatha looked for a footlock there for a split second, trying to get the pant, trying to, you know, create a dilemma here between leg entanglement and sweep attack. But time has expired. The score is 10-10. Jake Watson, I literally have no idea who I would call for this one. It was basically even. The only argument could be for maybe who scored last, but very, very hard to tell here.
Yeah, and as we see this replay of the match, really it was 50-50. That was a tail of the tape, the 50-50 with the lapel. Mathias Luna, sometimes on top, sometimes on bottom. But we'll see, who will the referees give it to? A very interesting decision coming up. And all three of them go unanimously in favor of Johnatha Alves.
Representing Art of Jiu-Jitsu, Johnatha Alves.
Yeah, very technical matchup.